Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the AFC Northerners. This is 77, I believe. Let's start to the right.
Hey, Mark Herman, a.k.a. LA Bengal fan on Twitter, repping the Bengals.
Dave Green, Browns guy.
J. David Zutar, Baltimore Ravens.
Gabriel Bellotti, Steelers country.
Well, all right, divisional games were this past weekend, and since we usually start on this side, let's start right here. And I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to quote Mark from last video. Right team shows up, that's the team that's going to win. And the Browns were not the right team this week. We didn't even bother to show up. So, yeah.
I love how you can approach this. Like, I have so many life lessons to take from you.
What else am I supposed to say?
No,
You've won
exactly.
4 games in the
Just
last 29 or 30. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like losing just becomes natural, I guess. So when we do win, I'm gonna go spastic. It's gonna be ridiculous. But let's start with Mark. What were your takes on the game? All that good jazz.
Well, you know what? Like I said, I compared us to a dented can with no label last week because I didn't know what we were going to get. And it wasn't yams. It was fruit cocktail. I like fruit cocktail better. So I think that's a better take. But while I'll take the win, it's really, really hard for me to get excited about this win.
Wait. Somebody owes somebody a jersey.
Yeah, I was going to get it from him in a second.
All right.
Talking, but
I mean, I know I got to do it. So
yes, misery does love company.
Yes, no, exactly.
I'm taking it.
That's exactly what it is.
While I don't want to get too excited about it, we caught a Browns team without their 3 top defenders. So the defense was kind of toothless coming in. They did get the early strip sack on Dalton, but then they couldn't convert it into points. I mean, any other team, I think, would have put at least a field goal up.
3,
yeah, so, I mean, it was just one of those things that, I mean, both teams looked like they couldn't get out of their way on their first possession, and then the Bengals just took off, and that was it. Dalton had a good game, but like I said, I'm tempering everything because it's hard for me to get excited about beating a team who's missing their 3 top defenders. So, it's kind of like beating a blind guy in darts. I mean, you don't sit there and do the dance in front of the guy. So I just, like I said, I'll take the win. I was happy to see Lawson and Mixon getting more snaps and William Jackson III. It looks like the Bengals are going to try to start featuring Mixon more. They're still listing Jeremy Hill as the #1 back. I still think they're trying to posture trade. Would love to see him get traded maybe to
Minnesota
or Green Bay or one of these. Or Minnesota. Yeah, I would love to see. Hey,
Yeah,
how about
both of
Pat
those
Alfine for Jeremy Hill? Come on, Zim. Would love to see that, but I was happy to see that. What troubles me the most is you're going to see a clip of a roughing the passer call on Vontaze Burfict. This is probably one of the cleanest hits you will ever see a person make. I mean, you're going to see him. The ball's just released. Burfict goes right into the chest, puts him in the ground. It's almost like the referee saw who it was making the sack and then threw the flag.
Yeah.
And if this is something, I have a serious problem this week, especially, but throughout this, I've talked to these guys about it off camera with the actual product that the NFL is rolling out there. I have a serious problem with the fact that Shazier doesn't get suspended. Trevathan just got his fine reduced to one game. Yeah,
wow.
Tez sat out for 3 games on a clean hit in the preseason and then gets flagged here. I mean, if this is a sign of things to come, it's only a matter of time before we have a key play in the Steeler game and we get flagged. It's going to cost us. I mean, this week it didn't cost us anything, but watch the play, look at it. This is, even the announcer said, I don't know what these guys saw. It was just a textbook hit on the quarterback. So that was the biggest concern for me. We'll see what we have coming in this week. You can pop up your jersey. I'm still going to take it because it's a win's a win, and I don't want Jay.
By the way, if you guys don't follow at LA Bengal fan on Twitter, you should, because his rants during the game are epic. You were you were the angriest Bengal tweeter I've ever met in my life.
So, so that's it. So, like I said, look at. I'm just really concerned with what I saw. With Tez back playing, if he's going to get called for clean plays, I mean, we can't even put him out there, or we can't play the game. I mean,
I think that's the idea.
You know what? Burfict is the quintessential defensive football player that you want on your team. The guy is all hustle, all motor, is willing to lay wood down on guys. but that hit you're talking about, that was a clean hit. I thought there was a lot of bad officiating calls in this game. The female ref, she threw the flag right off the fumble,
Right.
and that we should have been able to at least recover it, if not return it. But she
Right.
whistles the play dead
Right, yeah.
almost immediately. I don't understand what she was looking at. I don't understand what that ref that called the flag on Perfect was looking at. It was just a...
Well, and we didn't even have good announcers. Not that I think. And if you check my
I
Twitter
haven't
feed,
caught the game.
if you check my
I didn't
Twitter
do
feed,
that.
you're going to see where I think I said something about I muted the game, so now at least it's watchable, because these announcers were just absolutely horrible, and you had horrible officiating. And I'm not surprised. I mean, the NFL, they had 2 winless teams. They're not going to send their A team out to cover the game, and the network's not going to send. I didn't expect to have, Troy Aikman and Jim Nantz covering the game. But like I said, it was to the point to where I thought it was better muted than listening to those 2 clowns on CBS cover the game.
Oh, they were horrible. They were horrible.
Yeah,
I completely agree.
But the best thing I can say is I would really like to see Hugh lose his job at the end of the year. So if we can maybe get that train started, love to welcome him back home. I think there was something I sent out earlier in the week where I said Hugh come home. It was about
we
Got strangled on.
All right, I'm going to say that I thought the turning point in this game, and it was really early. It was late first quarter, and the end result was early second quarter. It was Dalton rolling out, and he finds, I don't even know which wide receiver it was, but he puts it right there on the spot. And I want to say 3-4 plays later, he's going over the top to A.J. Green. And that was pretty much where we were done. We missed that field goal, and then we give up that easy touchdown. Peppers was caught out of play because of the play calling on it. And it just seemed to suck any sort of life from us as a team. I thought we tried down the stretch, but we just don't have enough. Our wide receivers are absolutely garbage.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when Gordon's going to be reinstated, if he's going to
He hasn't even filled his paper. He hasn't even put his paperwork in.
So, and they're starting to do a lot of articles everywhere about that, and I think that's premature. Let's just deal with what we got. I think what we need to do is set the example and bench Britt. Let him get announced as the starter, and then as soon as they go to take the field, Hugh needs to yank him back by the back of the shirt and be like, no. You're on the bench, buddy. You can't catch. That's what I thought pretty much about the game. I thought it was a really ugly game and a horrible thing to watch. It dragged on at the back end, and I was really just disappointed. Like, I was looking forward to it. I bought beer the whole fucking nine.
Well,
like, I wasn't going to buy beer.
Well, I think that the Geo play was such, I mean, you're talking about a lane that just, I think that was the final. Whatever win was in your sails was gone.
Was gone on that.
So.
Yeah, so that's us. That was the Browns and Bengals.
Well, luckily, I was hanging out with one of our other Steelers guy, Chris Adkins, at Gabe's, which is a Steelers bar in Santa Monica. I was the only Ravens guy there, and I got drunk enough that I don't remember a lot. I had to go back and watch the game a couple days later.
Okay, so I watched your guys' video a couple of times trying to figure out what the heck that guy said in the background. Do you have any idea?
Which one?
It was like maybe a minute 10 into it all. And he yelled something at Chris, and Chris just kind of turned and was like, gave him a head nod.
I think he was yelling at Chris for his, he's like, go Steelers, or something like that. I don't remember.
All right.
I will say that most of the people at Gabe's, by the way, were really cool. They're really cool people.
Most of them are.
Yeah,
a couple that are assholes.
There was like 4 or 5 that I legitimately had to shut down with history and facts. So, anyway, thank you, Gabe, for overall being relatively cool. Thanks again to Chris. Like, dude, I love you. So let's get the formalities out of the way.
All right, you want to do this on yours?
Yeah,
all right.
We'll do that.
He's going to make sure Gabe doesn't forget this week.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to forget this week.
So,
it's the Ravens. I'm not going to forget this week.
Appropriately, this team makes me drink. That being said, let's go down through some notes, because what I really want to talk about is our offensive line, because there's a lot of different things to touch on, but our offensive line, because our defense did everything it could. Every single thing it could, but poor guys were so tired, so run down by the second half. So let's talk about the offensive line. First of all, Skura and Illuminor. Wow, some of the worst play I've seen from guards all season. Skura just had 50 plays, 43 blocks, missed 2, allowed 2.5 pressures. basically allowed like almost a full sack right on his own. And it wound up being like just a horrible showing. Illuminor was even worse. 16 plays, 10 blocks, 2 missed. Allowed for a third of a penetration, allowed for a pressure, but he also had a very few snaps compared to Skura. Skura had a lot more snaps. So yeah, I can't really say a whole lot. Like I can't really grade on that.
You can blame a lot of that on your offensive line, like you're doing. But if you watch highlights of the game, Flacco, when anytime anybody got within like a half a foot of him,
You got skirmish.
Well,
he got
well,
scared and made bad decisions.
Let's touch on that. Oh yeah, I'm not like again. I've never been wacko for Flacco.
No.
So I want to talk about the offensive line. So because of this, we wound up at guard. We had 4 missed tackles total, and we allowed basically around like whenever you look at it, it's like almost 36 points that we basically could have allowed. Like it was like could have made if they had performed up to par. That being said, so let's talk about the rest. Stanley. Stanley was good, but he really struggled against the bull rush, especially against Watt. That was a really tough
Hayward.
one. Yeah, and Hayward Bay was really a hard one.
Not Hayward Bay. Cam Hayward.
Cam Hayward, excuse me. Thank you for the correction. Hurst, way better than last game, but still, he was better than the last game. Jensen had a great game actually against the Jags at his position, but really declined against Cam Hayward again. Hayward really just like did a lot of numbers. You could tell that our offensive line was really out-coached and outplayed. Like they were. Austin Howard actually was decent versus Bud Dupree.
Yeah, oh yeah.
However,
with that one exception.
my problem with Howard is that he still has slow feet, and Tuitt and Shazier just constantly beat him over and over again.
Fantastic.
There was honestly no real run game for the thing. And honestly, like, if I had to get a game ball to somebody, like, it would have to be split between Shazier and Tuitt because they just had their way with our offensive line. Now, coming back to what you said about Flacco, yeah, if you look at that, though, whenever you're constantly getting beat in almost every single position on the O-line, with the exception of Austin Howard, who's actually doing a job, and Ronnie Stanley, who gets beat on the bull rush, you get a little trigger happy.
I understand that. I'm a Browns fan. We've gone through 20-plus quarterbacks. But still,
I still think he's exactly that rounds
Look
out.
how hard I was on Dalton.
Yeah.
With the offensive line issues, Russell Wilson still makes things happen.
Yep.
Eli Manning still makes things
Exactly.
happen. Having a bad offensive line and knowing it going in, you have to game plan around it.
So do you guys think
and
that I'm being positive on Flacco?
No, I think you're being too easy on Flacco.
Okay, well, I haven't finished yet, so let me change that. So one, Flacco, just horrible, like, throws, caught, like, everything that you can do wrong as a quarterback, he basically did.
Pretty much.
Like, I can't really think of a good decision that was a consistently good decision that he made throughout the entire game. I've been saying this for a long time. Again, I've never been a big, huge Flacco fan. Whenever we won the Super Bowl, I was actually really upset because it meant that we had to keep him. That being said, man, Alex Collins, I do want to say that, like, dude, I am cheering for you. I hope that, like, you continue to just have that heart that you have because I'm really impressed with your level of play. You're the one offensive player that, throughout has been great. Like, I can't really say anything about Macklin, couldn't even say anything about, like, Watson made a couple of good catches here and there, but in general, like, just some of the worst quarterbacking I have ever seen from the Ravens, period. And that is completely on Flacco. And that's it.
All right, well, so compared to last week, I am ecstatic about what happened in this game. The defense has been, with the exception of last week, over the last 4 games, the defense has really been showing up. And now, finally, Bell, after 3 games, has shaken off the rust. He's starting to finally find his rhythm. And our offensive
he had more yards in this game than he had all season.
And our offensive line with DeCastro, Villanueva, they were opening up holes. Bell was getting nice chunks of yards. And last week I had talked about how what really pissed me off about the Bears game is that Ben just wasn't getting the ball out as fast as he needed to. And at the beginning of the game, I started, like, there were a couple plays where Ben wasn't getting the ball out fast enough, and I'm thinking to myself, oh God, is this going to be another friggin' Bears game where Ben's nuts? Then we start seeing Ben actually be Ben and get the ball out as quick as he needed to. As good as the offense was, I want to focus more on the defense. because our defense has been so consistent this season through 4 games, with a little bit of the exception of the Bears game. It has been amazing, and that is because of Bud Dupree, of Ryan Shazier, of Cam Hayward, of even the acquisition of I'm blanking on his name right now, from the Browns.
You're talking Hayden.
Hayden. I'm talking Joe Hayden. Because I gotta say, even though Collins got through and got that, 40, 50 yard run, Hayden was the one who went down there and was the one who was able to tackle him. And I've got to give mad props to Hayden for that. And he's made some really good plays over the last 4 games. So I think he's a great addition, and I think that until he gets hurt. But I think he's going to continue to make plays. Now, what I really want to focus on is Shazier and Hayward. First, I want to talk about the interception. You can look up here to the link for Shazier's interception that he had. And talking about Flacco, if you look, you can't really see because they don't show it in the highlights, but a play or two.
That play was brilliant.
A play or two before that, Flacco throws the same route.
Yep.
Shazier sees it. He misses it. He sees it again. He sees the same lineup. He's right there, and he catches it. Because he knew it. He watched Flacco. He saw it, turned around, went and got it. Now, Shazier is credited with stripping the fumble from Collins, right? It was Collins?
Yeah, Collins.
But if you watch the clip closely, and I also have, this is under my Hayward clip. If you watch right up here, there's 2 for Hayward. There's Hayward's sack on Flacco, and I think in the first or second quarter.
Yeah.
And then if you actually watch, yes, Shazier starts the strip, but it's Hayward's hit that actually knocks the ball out, and Hayward, seeing it right there, scoops it right in. It's a great, nice little tandem that Shazier and Hayward have. So I agree with you that I would give the game ball to 2 people, but I wouldn't agree that it's 2. I would say it's Hayward and Shazier.
From what I saw, as far as how he manhandled our offensive line on his own, he gave our offensive line more problems over the entire thing. As far as big plays, that's a different story. But as far as consistent,
I agree with that. But my reasoning behind this is Hayward is one of the captains, and Hayward's one of the reasons, with his consistent play that he's had for the whole season so far, and with how much of a big player he's been so far.
See, I'm just going by what I saw in the game.
I get with that. I get that. But the plays that he made in the game and the impact that he's had on this defense is why I'd put him over to it for the game ball of this game.
Yeah.
And
we got to move on.
There's one more, and there's one more. What was the other one? There was the. I had one more clip. Who was it? The Mike Hilton interception. If you watch up here, there's the Mike Hilton interception, which Shazier tipped it up, and basically like a basketball player just tipped it up right for him to catch.
I mean, they literally took a play out of the Ravens playbook against the Bengals from the first game of the season and just started knocking plays out of the ball. And they saw, oh, cool, that's a good idea. Let's do that to Flacco. And there's a lot to have an issue with as far as that game.
All right.
But we need to move on.
You've got 14 more games of misery to discuss with us, Ravens guys. So let's move on to the Bengals, and who you guys got this coming week?
Bengals are home. They finished up their 2 road games. They got a split. They should have won the game in Green Bay, but they didn't. They're coming home. They've got Buffalo this week. Buffalo's a surprise team. Solid offensive line, solid defensive line, very solid defense. This is a team flying high right now. They're coming off a huge road win in Atlanta, and we get them. This is a week we're going to learn a lot about the Bengals. If we win this week, this is a quality win. Not saying we're not taking the Browns, but like I already said, I can't put a lot of stock in that game. This is the game. You've gone 0-2 at home to start the season. You have to win this game at home. You can't go 0-3. And like I said, this would be a quality win against a team, like I said, first place. When was the last time we could say Bills are 3-1, first place in the East? So I know every Patriot fan is going to be rooting for us this weekend, which is a double-edged sword. But you got to win the games you have in front of you.
That just feels gross.
But I really, like I said, we're going to see what we have with Cincinnati this week. Can they turn their season around? Yeah, if they can win this week, go into the bye week with 2 straight wins, and then come out and win in Pittsburgh coming out of the bye, they'd be 3-3, and they're back in. The season's saved. If they don't win this game, it all starts this week. So you cannot go into the bye week in a loss.
So
you're playing spoiler in week 7.
Yeah.
So this is a huge week for them. I am going to be optimistic. You've had pessimistic Bengal fan all year. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to think that the Bills are going to have an emotional letdown coming off this win. And this is also the 2nd road game in a row. So this is their 2nd week on the road. I think that we surprise the Bills. I think we win 27-20. That's my prediction. And we go into the bye on a positive note, which will set up a big Week 7 showdown in Pittsburgh.
Awesome. All
There
right.
you go.
So Browns were staying at home. We've got the Jets. Jets won in overtime, 23-20. They are a team with a lot of trick plays.
They have a lot of them, don't they?
Running
because they
back,
have to.
The running back in this last game, he actually took the handoff and just kind of dropped to the ground. Everybody stood around like he was down, and then he pops back up and freaking takes it for 40, 50 yards to the house. Like, that's a trick play. That brilliant play by the running back. Their defensive line's really aggressive. They move those guys around a lot. They're really active in the trenches. That's what we're going to have to pay attention to. We're going to have to make sure we hold those guys and keep them away from Kaiser. Kaiser's going to be the key to this game and the running game. We need to get Duke Johnson involved, especially passes into the flat. Let's play Kaiser up underneath center a couple of plays so we can get Crowell going, just so he can establish
He's
himself.
primarily been in the gun, right?
95% of the plays, he's in the gun. And that does Crowell no good. I don't know if it's just Crowell is no good or if it's just because he's playing back there, but this guy needs to be able to get a head of steam and pound through the line. That's Crowell's game, and we're not playing up to that. I'm going to say, because we're 0-4 now, I don't think the NFL wants us to lose 5 in a row, and I don't think Hugh Jackson wants to lose 5 in a row.
That's your basis for that?
I don't think the NFL wants us to lose
Dude,
5 in a row, therefore we're not.
Well, no, not the way freaking the refs screwed us last
Yeah,
week. It,
no,
it wasn't a
it's,
screw job, but I mean, come on, you're
No, I
you're
get
whistling
it. I
plays
just
dead
love your.
before they even
I
have
love
a chance.
conspiracy theories.
I just think that I think that we're getting the W this week. I think we're at home. I think they're going to come out and they're going to play really aggressive. I think we're going to get on the board early. That's going to be the key to us coming down the stretch and
I would
winning
totally
this game.
agree with that.
And I've got the Brownies winning 26-22.
26-22.
Let me chime in real quick. Number one, there's a chance you have Myles Garrett back.
Yes.
That could be a
True.
huge boost to this team.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have Collins back. But
I think
but,
he's still in the protocol.
The biggest thing I saw in our game was Kaiser holds the ball too long.
Way too long.
Yeah.
Dalton, when he had success in Green Bay and he had success against you guys,
Yeah.
getting rid of the ball in 3 seconds or less, sometimes 2 seconds or less. They timed it. Kaiser was holding the ball 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You can't do that to any offensive line. So they've got to scheme. Jackson has to scheme. Kaiser getting the ball out quickly. The Jets' defense is good. I watched the Jacksonville overtime game.
Agreed.
They're a good team. That defensive unit is good. They're prideful. They're not going to roll over.
Yeah.
No, they're definitely not going to roll.
I know we
over.
got to move on, but I would say that if I were Hugh Jackson going against that, what I'd do is in the first half just run, and tire that D out,
That's
and then
Try to. That's a good
and
idea.
then like that would be
Pitches, flat, passes
Exactly.
into the flat,
Just-
screens, that
Well,
sort of
you can
thing.
do that
Exactly.
if you're picking up first downs. You
Well,
cannot
we were-
keep going 3 and out.
Yeah.
That's what they were
3
doing
and
with
out,
us,
or
and
you
their
go-
defense
you
was on the
get
field
4 or
too
5
long.
Exactly.
yards, and then you get penalized 10. Now you're sitting 3rd and 15,
Right. Yeah.
and that's been the Achilles heel all season for us. So,
all right.
yeah, 26-22. Brownie's going to get a W this weekend.
Awesome.
Right.
Ravens.
All right, so
Okay.
I had a whole thing to talk about with Derek Carr and the Raiders playing at the Oakland Coliseum for the second time in 3 years, and now E.J. Manuel's there. So that's gone. So let's talk about E.J. Manuel, former Bills player. I originally had really thought that the Raiders could absolutely easily win this game. Like, under Derek Carr, the AC/DC combination of Derek Carr to Amari Cooper is ridiculous. Plus Michael Crabtree, who's now out, right? So it's pretty much Amari Cooper is not their primary workhorse,
Yeah,
but
there's
one of their
also
bigger workhorse.
who's the other Amari Cooper and
Plus they got the Khalil Mack. Anyway,
Yeah.
but that's a different thing. So thinking about this game, right? All the variables have changed from what I wrote out. So as of yesterday, so all the variables have basically changed, and so now I'm sitting here thinking, could the Ravens possibly win this game, and if so, how? Honestly, on a very slight chance they could, if they do exactly what I said your Browns should do. If they run the ball and tire out the defense from the Raiders, and then they by some miracle Joe Flacco shows up, then yes. But honestly, I don't think that's going to happen.
It's mandatory. He has to be there, whether or not.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
plays
No.
well.
So my prayer is that Flacco pulls something in his back and he can't play, because then if Mallett's in there, maybe we have a spark of a chance, and that's really how sad of a state of affairs we're in right now. So that being said, I know that we're short on time. I had a whole thing, but without Derek Carr, it's all kind of like meaningless. So here's what I'll say: is that I know that there's a lot of variables here. I think that their defense is not very bad. Their secondary is a little suspect. But again, against us, I mean, that doesn't really mean anything. So I think that if we reestablish a run game, it could be a very different game if we don't have an interception happy quarterback, which who knows who we get. Malik could be interception heavy. Flacco has thrown 10 straight interceptions in 10 straight games, so that's a fun fact. I think that honestly we're playing at the Coliseum in Oakland. I think that the Ravens are going to lose this, and I think it's not going to be pretty. I think it's going to be probably 27-14 Raiders.
Wow. All right.
All right. And you're going to get a heavy dose of Marshawn Lynch, and they're going to scheme around it,
so
and
we've
the
got
defense will beat you.
So we've got
the defense will beat you.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's got the Jags coming in. The Jacksonville Jaguars have not been that great this season, but as
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. Yeah, but you were playing them in London. And
I love
that's
that you're
their
making excuses for me, though. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Well, no, because you were trying. So, but anyways, the Jags, they haven't really been that great this season, and Pittsburgh going up against bad teams, it's a mixed bag of what we're going to get with Pittsburgh. But I don't really think that's going to happen this week coming up with Pittsburgh being at home. Jags are coming into Pittsburgh, and with how this defense is gelling. I think it's a young defense. I don't think they're going to get in their head about the win against the Ravens, and I think that Bell is going to have another big game. I think that Bell's going to run all over. I foresee Bell having another run 150 yards rushing. I foresee him probably having 180 again, maybe close to 200 all-purpose yards. And Ben's got another weapon in JJ and in Juju Schuster.
I would. The one thing I would say about on defense is that Blake Bortles is getting his passes out really quick.
He is, but I mean, with the pressure that we're getting, and I think with the combination of Tuitt, Dupree, Shazier, and Hayward, we're able to get to the quarterbacks, and I think at home we're going to be able to get to Blake Bortles. We sacked Flacco 4 times. I foresee another 4 to 5 sacks against Blake Bortles. Shazier is smart. He knows how to watch the quarterback. I see Shazier getting at least another fumble recovery or another interception. I see a good 4 to 5 sacks. I see Hayward getting another one. I see Tuitt getting one. I see Dupree getting in there and getting at least half a sack on somebody. Or I mean, not half a sack on somebody, but Dupree with somebody else getting in there and getting half a sack. We're starting to learn, our defense is starting to learn how to move offensive lines around and get holes. And I really think that our offensive line is going to be able to make some holes in the Jags defense and really get through. And I think with Bryant, with the combination of Bryant, Juju Schuster, and Brown, I think Ben's going to have a time picking apart the secondary of the Jags. My prediction is I'm going to say 24-10. I'm going to say 24-10.
24-10. I want to know what the over-under is on how far Antonio Brown throws a Gatorade.
Oh, my over-under on that?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to go 15 yards this time.
Ooh,
I think
triple.
I'm going triple.
He's gonna cause Roethlisberger a heart attack, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at that play,
flipped.
no, I understand that. But if you look at that play, he was wide open. That would have been a touchdown. There was nobody around him. If Ben had just taken another second to look,
that was the only play that gave
Ben
me
was
any
trying
hope.
to get the ball out
I
quick,
understand
so
that.
he didn't go down the progression. But you would think that Brown would be the first place he would look,
Third,
not number 3 in the progression.
Yeah, right.
So that was my only
All
surprise.
right, so do we have anything else?
Nope.
All right, so let's give superfanstyles.com a plug. If you check out their website, mention you heard about him from us.
Yep.
Receive 20% off.
AFC North 20 is the code.
Thank you very much. Let's plug Ace Boogie. He's a guy on a Bengals.
Another
guy.
great Bengals
Yeah.
podcast.
Hey, brother.
Also,
Check.
if you have a Steelers, Bengals, Ravens, Browns podcast on YouTube or whatever have you, and you want to join us on the show, you want to talk sports, you want to talk football, we're totally down. Feel free to
Absolutely.
hit us up through our email right here, AFCNortherners@gmail.com. You can also contact us on Twitter @AFC Northerners. You can see that right here. We also have our own Reddit, and it is r/AFC Northerners. All our videos automatically posted there as well.
Let's give a shout out to Rocco's too. We're not there.
Yeah, we're not there yet, but Rocco's is
taking
great.
a game.
Rocco's
Rocco's
Tavern.com.
Tavern right there. Great place.
And all right, guys,
I
think we're
think,
good
I think we're good.
Sign off as we always do.
with
Fuck
the Patriots.
Who lost this week?
Yes, thank you. All right, guys, we'll see you next one.
Bye,
Later.
Thank you.
Bye.